All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Crew Show with a little NFL power rankings as we go into Week 18. Who are the top 10 teams in the NFL? We'll break it all down next. Of course, Pig and a Pickle, best barbecue in Northern California. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week in both spots, Corte Madera and Emeryville, from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. And this video also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Check that link in the description. Use the promo code Krug, K-R-U-E-G, and they will match you up to your first $100. All right, let's talk about the top 10 teams in the NFL as I see it here with the power rankings. And we'll start on the backside. We'll go 10 to 1 instead of going 1 to 10. We'll have a little anticipation, if you will, for the 10th best team going right on down to the best team in the NFL. All right. The 10th best team in the NFL, in my opinion, and the way I have this is it's very AFC heavy at the top because I think the AFC is playing better. I think some of those teams are better than the NFC's power teams. So I've got the NFC powers outside of the Niners down in the bottom. I've got Dallas at number 10. They're 11-5. CeeDee Lamb might be the best receiver going right now. He had 13 catches for 227 yards last time out. Dallas is an unbelievable team at home. They've won 16 straight at Jerry's World. And, they've got a great kicker, too. The rookie kicker, Brandon Aubrey, has set an NFL record. He's made 33 consecutive field goals to begin his career. He's been absolutely outstanding. And, the Cowboys definitely are an interesting team because they've got explosiveness offensively and they can rush the passer and pick off passes if they get a lead. But you can run on Dallas, and they can't always run on you. And I think that they're a team that in the top 10 checks in at 10. Lamb is incredible. Micah Parsons is very special. If they get a big lead on you, you're in trouble. And if you're playing them in their place, they're really tough to beat. But they're the 10th best team. Every other team on this list is better than Dallas, in my mind. So I've got Dallas at number 10. All right. At number 9 on the list, I'm going with the 11-5 Philadelphia Eagles. They began the year 10-1. They may have the best offensive line in the game. They got a couple future Hall of Famers there, maybe 3 Hall of Famers if you believe in Mailata down the road. They also have a pretty great defensive line on paper, but man, they're free falling. They've lost 4 out of 5. The offense runs really hot and cold. Their defense is bottom quarter of the league as far as points per game. And, Philly's gotten a great year out of Jalen Carter. He started the season on fire. He had 3.5 sacks and 25 pressures over his first 5 games. Darius Slay was calling him Mr. Unblockable. He was the 9th pick overall. And, but his production overall has slowed in recent days. He's only had 1 sack and 1 quarterback hit in the past 6 games. And I just think that he's probably going to still win the Defensive Player of the Year award for the Rookie Defensive Player of the Year award. But Philly is struggling, and Philly is not the team they were earlier in the year. I think there's a lot of discontent going on over there. They may be a little tired. They have 2 new coordinators that's starting to show. They've got new players on the back end. They badly missed Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and they're 11-5, and they can beat anybody. And they're really rugged and tough on the line of scrimmage, but man, they've dropped 4 to 5. They just lost at home to the Arizona Cardinals. The only team they've beaten in the last 5 weeks is the lowly New York Giants. So Philly checks in at number 9. All right. Who is the 8th best team in the NFL? Well, I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are 11-5. They are locked into that number 3 seed. The worst they can do is the number 3 seed. They potentially could move into the number 2 seed if things break well for them in Week 18. But they're going to host a playoff game for the first time since 1993. And they play incredibly hard. They've got a true number 1 receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown. Sam Laporta is not just a very good tight end. He's a great tight end. He's fantastic. Jameson Williams is a burner. They've got Jahmyr Gibbs, and he's an explosive playmaker out of the backfield. Montgomery's a plow horse. Aiden Hutchinson is an impact guy on their D line. They're going to get Chauncey Gardner-Johnson returning soon. That can only help them. Detroit's good. And let's talk a little bit more about Sam Laporta, the second-round pick. He's enjoying one of the best seasons in NFL history for a rookie tight end. He tied the single-game record by a rookie tight end with 3 receiving touchdowns in Week 15 in the game against Denver. He also has 9 receiving touchdowns for the year. It's third most by a rookie tight end in the history of the league. So Jahmyr Gibbs has been a really good rookie as well. The Lions the Lions are going to be the next great team you'd think in the NFC because they're getting it right in the draft year after year after year. And to add Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta this year to their offense is huge. But Jared Goff's a little fragile. They don't have a great back seven. You can combo block Hutchinson because they don't have another impact guy on their defensive line. They're a year away. They're a year away. They still need more help in the back seven on D. They need more help for Hutchinson on that defensive front. Their offensive line is fantastic. Ragnow at center is a star. Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell are also stars. So they got 3-star offensive linemen. It's probably the best offensive line going right now, if you just want to look at talent. And God knows the fans in Detroit are super excited that they're going to host a playoff game for the first time in over 25 years, close to 30 years. So there you go. It will be 30 years, actually, 93. So what can I say? The Detroit Lions are playing really, really well, but I have them 8th here. I think they're a year away. I still think they're a year away. Goff is not mobile. He's not all that durable. He's still pretty much a immobile, skinny pocket passer, but they're going to play hard and they're not going to beat themselves. So Detroit, I have as number 8, Dallas number 10, Philly number 9, Detroit number 8. All right. Who is the 7th best team in the NFL? I'm going to go with the LA Rams, who also have one of the NFL's best rookies in Puka Nacua. He could easily be the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. The 5th-round pick is the Rams' leading receiver. He's got over 1,300 receiving yards, the 5th most by a rookie in the history of the league. Guy's really playing at a very, very high level. And the Rams are a good team. I mean, let's just make no mistake about it. The Rams are 9-7. They've won 6 out of 7 since their Week 10 bye, and they're super legit on offense. Stafford has won a Super Bowl. Kyron Williams, the Notre Dame running back, has emerged as a star. Cooper Kupp's back healthy. They have Puka Nacua. They've got Tutu Atwell. They've got a very balanced offense, and you got Aaron Donald on defense. They're not the best defense ever. They struggled in Week 17 to beat the New York Giants. So, but I just think the Rams are not going to be an easy out for anybody. They can score points. If you're one of these teams that struggles to score points, you get into a game against the Rams, you're probably in trouble because they can score 30, and if you can't, you're going to be in trouble. So I realize I've got the 9-7 Rams in front of the 11-5 Lions, the 11-5 Eagles, and the 11-5 Cowboys. But I think the Rams, they've been there. McVay's won a Super Bowl. Stafford's won a Super Bowl. Their weapons are incredibly difficult to defend. They're playing with the house's money. Nobody expected the Rams to be here. So, it's easy for the Rams to just let it all hang out because nobody really banked on them being much of a factor. So that's what's going on there. I mean, the Rams are going to be a tough out just because they can play loose and free. So they check in at number 7. All right, number 6. So now I've gotten basically all the NFC teams except for the Niners out of the way. The top 6 teams in the NFL, 5 of them are in the AFC, and the Niners are the only non-AFC team. The AFC's better. I'm going to put Miami at number 6. Okay, Miami's 11-5. They just got routed by the Baltimore Ravens 56-19. Miami hasn't beaten teams with winning records. They're very flashy and fast and impressive. They can make anybody look really bad. You catch them on the right half of football, and they look like the best team in the NFL. But they're 1-4 against teams with winning records. And Raheem Mostert's now hurt, and Jalen Waddle's not 100%. And they just lost Bradley Chubb, their number one pass rusher, to a torn ACL. So he's done for the year. And Tua Tagovailoa's got a hurt shoulder. And Xavier Howard was carted off this week with a foot injury. And I just think you put all those things together, and Miami, is a little bit further down the list than I would have had them even 2 weeks ago. Achane, the rookie from A&M, is an incredible player. He was a third-round pick. He's been fantastic. He is operated as Miami's change of pace running back, and he can go 100 yards from scrimmage anytime he suits up. Now, durability is always a concern with him, but you're talking about one of the most explosive players in the entire NFL, and you add him to a team that already has Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, and it makes Miami incredibly difficult to defend. But Miami, for all the reasons I mentioned before, number 6. They just got routed. They haven't beaten teams with winning records. They're really dinged up. They're not getting Chubb back. Who knows about Howard? So I got Miami at 11-5 as the 6th best team in the NFL. All right. Who's number 5? Who are the top 5 teams in the National Football League? I'm going to go at number 5. I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns, who beat the Jets last week 37-20, and they did it without Amari Cooper, who's their number 1 wide receiver. Joe Flacco has won a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens. Niners fans know all too well about that day. And Flacco is now 38, and he's thrown for 300-plus yards 4 weeks in a row. Cleveland has won 4 in a row. They've also won 7 of the last 9. And they've got dominating players on all 3 levels of their defense and a very good defensive coordinator. Jim Schwartz is coordinating. You got Myles Garrett up front. You got Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah in the middle, and you got Denzel Ward on the back end. I mean, you're talking about one of the most stacked defenses in all of football. The Niners lost to them earlier this year. They are also have had a bust-out year from a rookie in Dawan Jones, the big offensive tackle, who's having an all-rookie campaign before he underwent season-ending knee surgery earlier this month. He was a 4th-round pick out of Ohio State. Niners should have taken him over Cam Latu and passed. And this guy stepped into the starting lineup at right tackle in week 2 once Jack Conklin went out with the season-ending knee injury in the opener. And Jones was really solid all year. He had a pass block win rate of 86.8%. He had a run block win rate of 74.5%. I mean, he is their bookend tackle for the next decade, and great draft choice. Absolutely great draft choice by the Browns. So the Browns have Amari Cooper, some pretty good weapons. They can run the ball, even though Nick Chubb's done for the year. Their offensive line, which was thought to be their strength, evaporated and became kind of a weakness. But that defense is legit, and Flacco is not going to be intimidated by the playoffs. Another team that's playing with the house's money. Amari Cooper is a phenomenal receiver who can catch anything. He's got a massive catch radius, and Flacco's got a huge arm. So between their offensive weapons and Flacco and his experience and their defensive talent and their momentum, nobody wants to play the Cleveland Browns right now. I guarantee you that. So they check in at number 5. All right, number 4. Who is the 4th best team in the NFL? I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs as the 4th best team. They just beat Cincinnati in week 17, 25-17. Man, it's Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. They don't look very good, but they've been to the Super Bowl in 3 of the last 4 years. They've already won the AFC West now for the 8th straight season. Everybody knows the Chiefs' weakness. Their wide receivers are not great. They're paying Mahomes a ton of money. They said goodbye to Tyreek Hill. They're leaning on guys like Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore. And I mean, it's just, they don't have great weapons. They just don't. Their wide receivers are not very good. Their passing offense at times looks really bad. But they still have Mahomes. They still have Andy Reid. They still have Travis Kelce. They still got Chris Jones and a very fast defense. the Chiefs are a tough out. In a one-game playoff situation, they are a tough out. And they've also been helped by a rookie, and that's Rashee Rice, their second-round pick. He's been fantastic. He's got close to 80 catches on the year. He's got 7 touchdowns. I mean, they have turned to him in big situations as this year has gone on, and he's answered the bell. So it's really Mahomes, Isaiah Pacheco, Rashee Rice, and Travis Kelce, which is a lot. And they still have Andy Reid as the guy making all the decisions on offense. So that alone makes them scary. I'll put them at number 4 for Kansas City. I'm showing Kansas City more respect just simply because of Reid and Mahomes and the fact that they're the chalk. They've been to the Super Bowl in 3 of the last 4 years. All right, checking in at number 3, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are suddenly playing pretty good football. They've won 4 in a row and 5 out of 6. If they beat Miami in Week 18, they will win the AFC East. They forced 4 turnovers this last week against New England. This is a team that started 6-6, but their defense is starting to peak, and they've got Josh Allen. So great respect for Josh Allen. They changed out Ken Dorsey as the offensive coordinator halfway through. I don't know if it was Ken's fault, but their defense, despite the injuries, is starting to play pretty well. They're getting turnovers. They have Josh Allen. I'm going to go with Buffalo right there near the top. And, Osiris Torrance, their guard, and Dalton Kincaid are a couple of the young players that have really emerged from them. It's funny. Torrance has jumped in at right guard, and he's got the second best pass block win rate among rookies and the third fewest sacks attributed among rookie offensive linemen who have played at least 700 snaps. So Osiris Torrance has been really, really good, and Kincaid is given Allen another weapon. So I like Kansas City. I like Buffalo, and I like Buffalo. If they can beat Miami and roll into the playoffs, having won 5 in a row and 6 out of 7, they're going to be a team nobody wants to beat or nobody wants to play. That's for sure. All right, number 2 on the list, I'm going to go with the Niners. They just beat Washington 27-10. They've got 2 legitimate MVP candidates. They're the NFC's number 1 seed. They will have that first-round bye. So they're a team that you would think all they need is a little bit of rest, and they're going to get that rest. Week 18 means nothing, and then they get the first-round bye. So whoever gets them in the divisional round is going to get the Niners at full tilt, full rest. CMC's got a calf injury. Hopefully it's not too serious. They're strong in all phases of the game. Debo, CMC, Kittle, Ayuk. The Niners have great weapons. Their offensive line is their weakness, but if they can get Armstead back, they've got a real strong defensive line. They've got 2 outstanding linebackers in Warner and Greenlaw that, if they can be rested in the next 2 weeks, could be absolutely dominating in the playoffs. They've got a secondary that is better than you think. And I think the 49ers are not a perfect football team, but they're a team that when they're playing their best, they look like they could be the best team in the game. They flash that look of being the best team in the game. Now, it was a tough injury when Talanoa Hufanga went down in November, and it forced Jair Brown to play. The rookie at Penn State has been fantastic. So Brown has gotten better week after week after week. He's got a little bit of a sprained knee right now, but he's got 35 tackles and 2 picks, and he's probably going to be the full-time starter at safety in 2024. Niners also have some other young players in the secondary, guys like Samuel Womack, Diamador Lenore, Ambry Thomas, Darrell Luter. I mean, they've got some young talent back there that's getting better every single week. So I got the Niners as the second best team in the NFL. And so that means we're at number 1, and everybody knows who that team is. It's the Baltimore Ravens. They beat the 49ers convincingly. They just smashed the Dolphins, hung 56 on them in Week 17. They got the MVP in Lamar Jackson. He had 5 touchdowns this last week against Miami. They blew out the Lions earlier this year. They've won 6 in a row. They've got an elite defense with Hamilton on the back end, who's a real difference maker, and 2 just fast linebackers that appear to be healthy and almost look like they're in midseason form in Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen. So, Baltimore's good. Any way you slice it, they're good. And Zay Flowers has become Lamar Jackson's main target. Mark Andrews went down with a significant ankle injury. They may get Andrews back before the Super Bowl, but Flowers stepped in and led Baltimore in receptions, receiving yards. He's been a one-man gang. And the Ravens have missed in a lot on wide receivers with Rashad Bateman and others. But Flowers looks like the best receiver the Ravens have ever drafted. And he's obliterated the Ravens rookie reception mark. He's been fantastic. He's real. He's quick. He's really talented, stronger than you think, quicker than you think. Flowers has given them a true offensive weapon for Lamar, and Hamilton on the back end is one of the best defenders in the game. So Matabuke is playing amazing up front. The Ravens are well coached. The Ravens are a tough team to beat at home, and they've locked up the number 1 seed, and the road to the Super Bowl in the AFC rolls through Baltimore. So there you go. Those are my top 10 teams in the NFL. Once again, to count them down: Dallas at 10, Philly at 9, Detroit at 8, Rams at 7. I've got the NFC backloaded there. Then I'm going Miami at 6, Cleveland at 5. I'm going with Kansas City at 4, Buffalo at 3, Niners at 2, and the Ravens at 1. So there you go. Those are your top 10 teams. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video. Check that link in the description. Hit the promo code Krug, K-R-U-E-G, and they'll match you up to your first $100. And thanks to all you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.